All right, let's begin today's webinar. I am so excited to be here with you guys. I am very passionate about pets, and let's get into why. So in case you don't know who I am, my name is Jen, and I have been a doTERRA wellness advocate for 3.5 years. Basically, that's just a fancy way of saying that I teach people how to live holistically using essential oils for their wellness. And I'm also a student at Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And the fancy word of integrative, a lot of people have asked me what that is. And basically what that means is that integrative is Western and Eastern plus the whole body combined together. So remember, our bodies are well-oiled machines, and when we take care of ourselves and properly give nutrition to ourselves, we are actually able to heal. So another reason why pets, this webinar, it holds dear to my heart, is because my very first career, as a young girl, I wanted to be a veterinarian. So my education is in veterinary medicine, and I was in veterinary medicine for 16 years, and I had the specialty, and yes, we can specialize as veterinary nurses, also known as a registered veterinary technician, which is ultimately what I became. And I had a specialty of anesthesia, and I worked at the veterinary school at UC Davis. So, and I was at the veterinary school for 8 years until I moved along. It's amazing what, it is a very high stress job. So I am very, very passionate about pet health and how we can take care of our pets also in a little bit naturally. But something that I did learn in veterinary school is that every single species of animals react differently to all of the different types of medications that are there. So with that being said, we are no different. We are an animal here on the planet Earth, and we actually are very, very different from cats and dogs, and we'll get into a little bit of why. So this is why this is so passionate and exciting to me to bring both my loves together. So I'm very excited. And just keep in mind that dogs, cats, horses, whatever you're working with, and trying to help that animal with essential oils, it is very different. So first off, let me just give you 2 things that I will guarantee today. 2 things is the number one is that if you have questions during the webinar, please go ahead and put those in the chat. And then after the presentation is complete, I'll check the chat, and then we can have a live Q&A. So that way you can leave here getting all of your questions answered. The other thing that I do guarantee is that today I will be downloading this webinar to YouTube, and I will email it to you. So if you have registered for the webinar, please feel free, look for it in your inbox, okay? So those are 2 things that I do guarantee. Now, let me just chit-chat a little bit about one thing that is so, so, so important. Essential oils are indeed, can be dangerous, just like it can be dangerous for us. Whether you're an infant, a toddler, a teenager, an adult, or an elderly, it's the same thing with animals. So essential oils will not replace the need of your veterinarian. So if you are seeing any type of adverse reactions from your essential oils, please, I beg of you, seek veterinary care. Also, it is so important to make sure that you let your veterinarian know that you are using essential oils That way they are understanding what is going on with your pet. And we'll talk a little bit more about what, when, and why physiologically of what makes essential oils so different compared to a medication. But just to keep a short story long and my point driven home is that please, 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 please seek veterinary care at all times. Just like with us, when we use an essential oil and we're not getting good results or we're having a problem, make sure that you reach out to a very trusted person, okay? So I am so excited that you guys are here. And I just have my notes here so that way I stay on track today because I don't want to go off onto a tantrum. But I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. So let's talk about the power of the nose. Now, you're thinking, well, of course, dogs have a very, very high sense of smell. And that is absolutely true. Did you know that dogs have 220 million smell receptors in their nose? Isn't that amazing? Hence why they're used for, in law enforcement, they're used for smelling things out. The airport uses them as well, just because their sense of smell, they pick up on things way faster than you or I. This will be very important as we're introducing our essential oils. For cats, they have anywhere between 44 to 80 million smell receptors in their nose. So much less than a dog. And us humans are only 5 million smell receptors. I was shocked when I found that little goodie info of goodies. But I thought it was very interesting. And just know that, when you can't smell something, keep in mind that your dog or cat could probably smell it. So when we use our essential oils around pets, it is so important that you use a few cautions. Number one is never keep them locked in a bedroom. So like right now, I am in my office. It is also, there's no bed in here, but it has a closet and it could be used as a bedroom. But my cat is currently not locked in here. And I do have a diffuser going. And my diffuser today is running with the Motivate, which is full of citrus and peppermint, and also some basil for just to keep the stress down, because it's summertime. That's all I got to say about that. Summer. So when we are with our animals, it is so important that we allow them the freedom to move around so that way that they can get away from the smell or the scent of the room. Now I want to talk a little bit about choosing the quality of your essential oil. Here's the biggest reason why. There's always some things that float around in the media of, this essential oil killed my cat, this essential oil killed my dog, this essential oil had this adverse reaction on my horse. And every single time that I have learned, and I've done some digging in the background, what ends up happening is I find that these are poor quality essential oils. Now, I do represent a company by the name of doTERRA, and doTERRA is the company that I know the most about. So I will always talk about these oils because, frankly, I do not know any other oils. And I'm finding that doTERRA essential oils are science-backed and within the medical community that we know today. So let's talk of therapeutic, certified pure therapeutic grade oils. So these are oils that are used that they are certified pure. Now in the essential oil world, there is no government regulation that ensures that what is in the bottle is what is on the label. And that is absolutely true. So I am going to encourage you to ask questions. It's always good to ask questions and challenge authority. I come from that background And sometimes it's gotten me into trouble, but it has saved me in many ways. So for instance, when you have a bottle of lemon and you are looking at this essential oil bottle, and if it says not for internal use, but you know you can eat a bottle of lemon, then ask the question, what else is in this bottle of lemon? Okay. Just FYI, for labeling purposes, the only amount of oil that has to be inside that bottle to obtain that 100% pure label is only 10%. So you have a bottle of lemon that says not for internal use, but the label says 100% pure, but you know labeling requirements is only 10% of that oil is pure. So ask those questions. And if you can't get to the bottom of the answer, then put that oil back on the shelf. This is why I chose doTERRA. I chose doTERRA because of their transparency, that I could look each bottle up by the bottom. There's a lot number on the bottom of the oil, and I could look that up and find all the constituents that are in the oil, which is exactly what I need, that transparency and vulnerability, especially when I'm using them as medicine for not only myself, my kids, my husband, but also my pets. So let's get going. So compare those labels. Now, regarding the testing of oil, doTERRA tests their oils 54 times before that oil ends up in your home. Can you believe that? 54 times, right? So there's 11 tests. So out of the 54 times that oil is tested, 11 of those tests are ran by a third-party lab that's not associated by doTERRA, not on the books, not paid for. And also, I like to see those reports too, because I want to make sure that the reports from doTERRA and the reports from the third-party lab match. That way, when I'm using my oils as my medication, we can actually know and have absolute comfort that we know that that bottle is what it's labeled for. I hope this all makes sense. All right. So, oh gosh, I'm just skipping right ahead. Sorry. I just kept on talking. Forgot to keep going with the slides. So let's talk a little bit about the topical use. Oh, wait. Then we're going to back up because apparently I was okay with the slides. All right, sorry about that. So again, let's avoid our toxicity. Now, what is a toxicity? It is anything in our home or in our environment, anything that causes an adverse reaction to our body. Now, that reaction sometimes takes time to build up in our body, and then we have a reaction, or we get a reaction right away. Like, for instance, when you get a bug bite, you get a reaction to that right away. Another prolonged way of getting a reaction, it would be maybe a food sensitivity that you didn't used to have, but you have now. That is a long-term sensitivity that kind of builds up. So just because the oils may be considered safe for your pets doesn't mean that oil is the right oil for your pet. And that is the same thing with us humans, right? So, for instance, my oldest son loves lavender, absolutely loves it. But he does not like petitgrain. Now, petitgrain chemically does the same thing lavender does. So you would think, well, if it's chemically the same thing as lavender, then why doesn't he like petitgrain? Because to him, the smell is not pleasant. So to him, that oil, petitgrain, is not the best oil. Lavender continues to be the best oil for him. It's the same thing with pets. So for another, for instance, is melaleuca or tree tea. When you use tree tea oil, You could use that on your dogs, very much so, but you cannot use it on your cats. Because cats do not have the enzyme in their liver to metabolize the tree tea, and therefore could potentially hurt your pet. So we want to make sure that we are being careful and slow with our introduction of the oil. So for instance, when I am going to introduce an oil to my pet, I will actually take the oil just like this and leaving it sealed, because remember, dogs have a very high sense of smell, and so do cats. So I will actually just show the oil bottle to my pet, and they can make the decision from there. So if they lick the bottle, then they are going to accept that bottle, that oil. If they turn their head like I'm disinterested, then they are not going to accept this oil used on themselves. If they walk away, that's also called a clue that the oil is not the perfect oil for them. But if they smell it and they like, okay, that's good, and then just lay down next to it or lick the bottle, that is a pleasant experience and aroma for them. So some side effects that you may see in your animals would be and side effects, I'm not talking like good ones, maybe some things to look out for, maybe some wheezing, maybe some shaking, whining, changes in nervousness or aggression, or excessive shaking, or excessive licking where they were. That could all be excessive side effects of that oil that's given. So what I like to do before while I'm introducing an oil, what I do is I would like to put it in a diffuser. When I put it in a diffuser, if my animals are staying in the room, then I know that oil is a good oil for them. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions, because it can be a little tricky to introduce some oils to your pets. So one way that we can use our essential oils is topically. It's a very, very, very therapeutic way to deliver some essential oils. And don't worry about the fur. Actually, the fur is a very nice way to deliver some essential oils, a little bit slower than if you put some, like on the pinnae of the ears, that's the ear flaps, or the paws, or even the belly, not the groin area, but the belly area where it's, a little hairless. So we want to be very careful. Obviously, we have an animal. Let's just say we have an animal that licked the bottle. Now we can use it on our pets topically. So what you will do is you will heavily dilute these essential oils, because remember, they're not us. So just like with us, we like to dilute our essential oil a 1-to-1, so a drop of essential oil to a drop of fractionated coconut oil. And then we can apply to wherever we need. We have a nice massage lotion. But for a dog or cat, we will dilute that much heavier. So maybe for a dog, you would want to have like 1 drop of essential oil to 8 drops of fractionated coconut oil. Or for a cat, you would probably have a drop of essential oil to 6 drops of fractionated coconut oil. Now you've made yourself a little massage lotion, and you can go ahead and just put it right onto your hands if you like. I always like to give my hands out so that way the dogs or cats or any animal really can smell that oil and accept that oil. And how do they accept it? They will do the same thing they do to the bottle. They'll lick their hands, they'll put their face in your hands, or they'll just get up and walk away if they don't accept it. And now you can use the oil that's on your hands and play with the dog's feet, the dog's pinnae of the ear, which is the ear flap, not inside the ears. Maybe give them a little belly rub, or when in doubt, just stroke the bottom of the hair. The back of the hair, the back of the animal alongside the hair. So you just start right at the head and you go all the way down to the base of the where the tail is. Okay. All right, some do's and don'ts. Remember I said animals are not us, so we have to be super duper careful. And once you get a hang of this, like everything in life, right? Once you get a hang of stuff, it'll be all good, and you'll be like an old dog, new tricks, right? So what do? You will always dilute your essential oils. You will never, ever, ever use essential oils topically without a carrier oil. What's a carrier oil? So fractionated coconut oil is my favorite because it's non-greasy. It will not stain your carpet, your clothes, your furniture, your dog beds. It won't stain that. And it stays liquid all the time. It's not like the same coconut oil that we have in our pantry. The ones in the pantry, it's very, very greasy, and that will stain your clothes and your furniture and everything too. So use a very small dose, okay? And of course, you want to monitor your pet. I mean, it's just like when using your essential oils for yourself. My motto is use an essential oil, and then 20 minutes later, ask yourself, how do you feel? Do you feel good? If your answer is yes, then stop there. If your answer is no, then redose your essential oil. But you have never left yourself alone. You want to make sure that you are helping yourself with your essential oils, and the same thing goes for your pets. So when you're using it for your pets, make sure that you just keep an eye on them, because if you give the oil and then he walks away and then starts wheezing or lots of vomiting or something like that, needs veterinary care right away. Don't wait. Just put them in the car, bring your essential oil bottle with you, and go to the veterinary hospital. Of course, just remember that every pet is different, okay? Every pet is different. So when you're dealing with horses, you never, ever, ever want to put the essential oil underneath the saddle or where the tack on the face and the girdle rub on the skin, okay? Now, some things you don't want to do with your essential oils. We talked already about diluting the essential oil. Again, we never want to use our essential oils neatly on our pets. Always, always diluted with the carrier oil. Also, just keep in mind that we never, ever, ever put our essential oils in the eyes, inside the ear canal, and up the nose, okay? Now, we don't even do this on us, so let's not do it on our pets, okay? Another thing, too, is please don't use hot oils on pets, okay? For us, so what's a hot oil? A hot oil is anything like clove, cinnamon, thyme, oregano. Some are savory, even some peppermints or wintergreen. And the reason why I say that is because for us, when we are using our essential oils and we're like, that's kind of burning. It means you have a little sensitivity. You need a little bit more dilution with a carrier oil. Never water. Well, dogs and cats and horses can't tell us that oil is hot on their skin. So please do not use any hot oils. All right, so let's talk a little bit about kitty cats. I'd be a crazy cat woman if my husband would let me, but I got one cat. I love me some kitties. Remember to please use the essential oils heavily diluted. Here are some essential oils that you could use on your cat. So cardamom. Cardamom is wonderful for any type of respiratory disease or digestive issues. Eucalyptus should only be used diffused. Do not use it when don't use it topically on them. Frankincense is wonderful for cats as long as they accept it, of course, but that's very good for any type of cellular health. Geranium is very good as well, especially for hormone balancing, and some maybe a little bit grouchy kitties. That happens. Marjoram, very good as well for any type of joint pain or muscle pain. Sandalwood is also good. Helichrysum, very good for any type of bruising or small cuts and things like that. You know, like those kitty abscesses when they're fighting outside with other cats. Helichrysum is great. Juniper berry is very good as well for kidney disease. Lavender, also good for calming. Lemongrass is great for flea control. Myrrh is for good for oral health, and spikenard is also good for very good for just some help of calming. Very good calming oil. Let's talk about our doggies. I got 2 dogs currently. I have a Rottweiler, and that's I believe he will be 5 this year. And then I have a German Shepherd who's a mix because she's very short. And Piper is going to be probably, we don't know exactly how old she is because she came to us as a stray. And I think she was probably about 4 or 5 when we got her, and she's probably going to be 10 this year. So keep in mind, when you're snuggling those cute little puppies that are less than 10 weeks old, say no to the essential oils, please, please. So don't put any essential oils on them topically. Also use them heavily diluted as well. The essential oils, please dilute. I'm hoping that I'm driving home this concept for you. Some oils that can be used for doggies. Cedar wood, so good for the bugs that are out there, great for bug repellent, and also to help soothe the anxiousness that sometimes the dogs can have, separation anxiety. Digestin, great as well for that stomach upset, or the dogs that like to throw up in the car because they get motion sickness. Juniper berry for kidney health. Lemongrass for pest control. Frankincense for cellular health. Geranium for nervousness, or when they're upset because they're in an area that they're just unfamiliar with. Lavender to soothe. Marjoram is also very good for those sore muscles and joints. You know, those doggies that get those hip dysplasia, they could use a little bit of that too. So let's talk a little bit more about some toxicity signs. So important. You know, just like with us, we got to keep an eye on us too. And then, of course, you know, make sure that we take care of our pets. So what are some signs of toxicity? Basically, it's anything that we are noticing that they didn't have before the essential oil. So change in behavior. Now, obviously, if you're using lavender for separation anxiety, and they were super anxious, and then you use some lavender and they're now super relaxed. Hey, high five to you, because you just made it a really great, it's called a success, right? But if you had a dog that was, you're giving lavender for anxiousness and he becomes extremely aggressive, maybe that was not the right oil for them. So change in behavior, change in sleep pattern. Confusion, like there's something going on with the animal that you can tell that they're just not tracking with what you're throwing down, you know. Lethargic, if they're lethargic and it's, you know, they've had plenty of water, they're in a nice cool environment, and they just can't seem to get up and walk to go to the bathroom. Change in eating habits and digestive issues. All those can be signs of toxicity. Please, please, please make sure that you are seeing your veterinarian if you see any of these. Grab that bottle of essential oil, bring it to the veterinarian, and say, hey, this is what's happening to my pet. So common conditions that we would use essential oils for. Arthritis and joint pain. You absolutely can get some great results. I personally have used a couple of different oils that I've used. My dogs really liked Deep Blue. They did accept that oil, and they were just wrestling so much. And then my older dog got a little lame, so I was helping her shoulder. And then the other dog, you know, did not like Deep Blue, but he liked Aroma Touch. And those are 2 doTERRA essential oil blends that I used and was able to give them some relief so that way they can get better. Skin disorders. So, you know, that allergic skin dog thing that happens, you know, we all, I mean, it happens to everybody, right? We live in a very high allergy area. So ears, you know, obviously we do not put essential oils inside the ear canal, but we can treat around the ear. We could treat the ear pinnae, which is the ear flap, but never inside. To support immune system, we can use our essential oils to support their immune system, and in turn, we will be supporting our own immune system, which is great. Mood, we talked a little bit about that dog having that separation anxiety or that scaredness, or the overly aggressive dog. You can use some essential oils for that. We talked about the anxieties already. Digestive issues, you know, my Rottweiler, every time he goes in the car, every single time he goes in the car, it's a big ordeal because he's going to throw up whenever he gets anywhere here, wherever we are. So we just make sure, bring lots of towels and paper towels and spray, and hope, pray to God that he actually throws the vomit on the towel so that way he doesn't make a big mess in the car. You can use, did you know, I love this part. This is my most favorite. I love to use my essential oils as my bug repellent. I love it. I like it being used on me because you know how it is. You're at this beautiful barbecue with your family, you took a shower, you got a cute dress on, you got your hair done, your makeup's on, and then you're going to cover yourself with gross DEET. And that smells gross. But essential oils you can actually use for a bug repellent, and you can use the same recipe on your dogs. And that is wonderful. And literally, I just take a spray bottle. Unfortunately, I don't have a spray. Oh, there it is. I take a little spray bottle right here, and I fill it up with my essential oils. I put it on me, and then I put a little bit on my hand, and then I just do the same thing from head to toe right there. And if I don't really have time just to do that, then I can just spray just spritz, 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 you know, a little bit away so that way that you could just watch the rain of beautiful essential oils hit your pet, and it takes care of the fleas, the ticks, and the mosquitoes, which is great. How about brain cognitive function? You know, my shepherd, she is starting to have seizures, so, which is kind of a bummer. And it's horrific to watch, and absolutely horrible because she can hear me. She knows I'm there, but she can't really like go to me. I have to kind of obviously go to her and then just kind of like get her down and go, okay, come on, girlie. But she does take frankincense pretty regularly, and she accepts it. I do the same thing every day. I'll just take my essential oil bottle. I'll give it to her to smell. She will either sniff it or lick it. That's usually because she likes frank. So I will put some frankincense on my hand, just 1 drop of essential oil to this 8 drops of fractionated coconut oil, put it, rub it on my hand, and I'll just pet her, and she can have her essential oil absorb through her hair. And that has really helped diminish the amount of seizures that she has. Of course, my veterinarian knows that I am doing this, and frankly, he's actually given me the thumbs up. Another thing too is that when, you know, you can use your essential oils for wound healing as well. So many things, so many things. Wonderful. All right, let's talk a little bit about marjoram. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so marjoram is an herb, and you can cook with it. I actually do love to make my marinades with marjoram. It smells wonderful. It's not hot. It's not a hot essential oil, but marjoram is super awesome to use for skin conditions, and it decreases the inflammation of the skin and also calms the nervous system, which helps greatly with allergy symptoms, because you know how dogs are. They are like, oh my gosh, I got to get that itch. I got to get that itch. Go itch, go itch, go itch. And then 2 seconds later, they're going right back at that itch, even though they just done scratching it, right? So when you're using your essential oil to decrease the inflammation and also calm your nervous system by using marjoram, they won't stop overly obsessed with that itch. It's super great to use as well for muscle support and joint therapy and tendon issues as well. So what you can use is, remember, you're only using it as a massage on the coat about 2 to 3 times a week. You don't have to do this daily to get great results. Really, less is more with the animals. So if you don't have marjoram, cedarwood or myrrh is a wonderful alternative. Let's talk lavender. We can't do any type of essential oil class without using the Swiss Army knife of oils, also known as lavender. This one is a wonderful oil, not only because it treats burns, it helps with bruises, or the grazes when they get, they go somewhere and they scratch themselves or whatever on something or their own nail. It also helps repel with fleas, wound healing, and my favorite way to use the lavender is to calm the dog that is actually having a little hyperactive brain or some anxiety. Excuse me, I noticed something in my throat. Okay, excuse me, thank you. So lavender is a great option. Remember, when you are introducing an oil, make sure that your dog or cat or horse it accepts the oil before giving it to them. Because just like with you, if I offered you an Advil and you are not an Advil user, you probably would say, yeah, no, thank you. But you introduced it to me. Do you see how the concept is going? That's kind of what we need to do with our dogs and cats and horses. All right, let's talk helichrysum. Helichrysum is one of my favorite oils. I use it a lot in my home. I have 2 boys that are very busy in sports, bumps, bruises, and joint pain, even bruise pain or bone pain, no joke. And guess what? We're going to use the same oil for the same reasons in our dogs, cats, or horses. So any type of broken capillary, so whether it's going to be a bloody nose or a bloody wound or a bruise, because a bruise really is a broken capillary of the skin. It just hasn't broken the skin. So broken bones also helps with soft tissue swelling. So, your dogs get into a little fight, which happens in my home, and the dogs will have a soft tissue swelling. We can help that as well with the helichrysum. And the best thing too that I absolutely love about helichrysum, because we have to take care of our liver, because our liver is a must-have in our body, and the dogs, the helichrysum will help to detoxify the liver. By the way, yeah, I love it. And you only need 1 drop of the helichrysum. Seriously, I can't speak any more highly of helichrysum. I love this oil. So, all right, let's keep moving forward. Let's talk about cedarwood, shall we? I love cedarwood. I love cedarwood. The biggest reason I love cedarwood is because it really does help calm and helps me, and actually my husband, myself, both my boys. It really does help just to calm you down and actually gives good sleep for all of us. But for dogs, cats, or horses, it helps to repel fleas. And it's this time of year when your dogs are outside and bringing the fleas inside. And we don't have time for that, right? Also will help soothe coughing. So those dogs that do suffer from kennel cough, uses joint pain, arthritis, back pain. Cedarwood is fantastic, by the way, for dandruff. I do personally use it in my own shampoo, because there's nothing more embarrassing for a woman than to be sitting there talking to somebody and you have dandruff on your shoulder. Well, the same thing with dogs. If you've noticed that your dog is having, that beautiful black coat, and then you've got all these white specks everywhere, use a little cedarwood, good to go. And then, of course, it does help with the nervous aggression of dogs. Cedarwood does, because it just helps calm the brain. All right, the king of oils. You knew when we talk about the king of oils, frankincense. Frankincense is imperative, beautiful oil that is antiseptic, disinfectant, anti-inflammatory. increase or supports the immune system, very calming to the body, to the brain, soothing to areas. So if there's any type of pain anywhere, frankincense will help that. It decreases tremors, so any type of brain support. Remember, I talked about my dog Piper, who does have some seizures, and we use frankincense every day to help her with her brain support and to decrease the frequency of the tremors. Frankincense does that. And frankincense will also help with digestive issues. Frankincense is amazing. It really is. When in doubt, frank it out. It's awesome. All right, geranium. Geranium is really good. This is actually an oil that has taken me a little to getting used to, because when I use it neat, it's very, very, very strong to me. Remember, there's a perfect oil for some people, but not everybody. Well, to me, geranium, I mean, that's true with everything. So geranium diluted to me is amazing. And it will help with balancing the hormones of the dog, or cat or horse. So if you're doing any type of AKC breeding or anything like that, and you're having problems with conception for your babies, and you want to get that going, so that way use a little bit of geranium. Beautiful. Helps with decrease of stress. Geranium is beautiful just to help balance the hormones, which means balanced hormones means less stress, means happiness, and a smile on people's face. And it is wonderful for flea and tick prevention. Lemongrass. Now, I love that this time of year in the Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever hardware store that you go to that sells plants or has a nursery section, they always have lemongrass around. And they're like, grow some lemongrass. And you want to know why? Because it's the natural flea, tick, and mosquito repellent. So it's wonderful, and it smells great too. So you can just apply it to the coat of the dog, cat, or horse, and enjoy your day. All right, so just a little caution. Now, in some ways, I kind of feel like our pets are like children, right? They're curious. They want to see what things are about, and what that smells like, and what it feels like, and can I play with it? Cats, dogs, horses are no different. So when you have your essential oils out, just be cognitive of where they are. Are they going to be safe there? Will your pets play with them? Because keep in mind that if that bottle accidentally opens, then you don't want them to get that whole bottle on them, because that will be a big problem. Also, when your diffusers are going, make sure that the cord is not in an area where it can get hooked up maybe on a dog tail or become a cat toy or whatnot. Okay, just be cognizant of where you're putting your stuff. So, if you are a cat owner, just some oils to avoid is basically going to be, the biggest one is going to be tree tea. So tree tea, also known as melaleuca, please, please, please be cognizant of where they are. Now, I am a huge essential oil user in my home. I literally have a diffuser in every single room in my home, and they run 24 hours a day. So now, obviously, I'm not in my bedroom because I'm not asleep, so those diffusers are not currently running, but currently I'm in my office, my diffuser is going, and my diffuser in my kitchen is going, and my diffuser in my living room is going, and the loft is going, because we got to have some good sense to keep summer stress down, right? So with that being said, if you are using tree tea in all of your diffusers in your home, that might be a little much for your cat. But to be frank, I do not seem to diffuse melaleuca a lot in my home, because frankly, there's other things to use to get smell a little better than melaleuca. So, and I do not ever put melaleuca or tree tea on my cats. Now, why is that? The liver in cats do not have an enzyme to break down the tree tea. So what happens is they can't metabolize that. And now because they can't metabolize it, that means the metabolites will become toxic to them. And then we have a bigger problem, okay? For you doggy lovers, you doggy parents, really seriously, no joke, big deal here. Remember, dogs smell. Their sniffer is so much more than a cat or ours. So they smell things way more intense than you and I do. So just keep your door open. If you like a certain smell, just keep your door open. Allow your dog and cat to come and go as they please. Okay? All right, so let's recap. Let's recap of what we've learned today. Okay, number one, oils are great, but we have to introduce those slowly to our pets. And we have to pay attention to what their response is. When their response is, here's the oil, they're going to smell, sniff, lick, love it, rub on it, and hey, they want that oil. But if they get up and walk away, that's not an oil for them, okay? Make sure you do some test doses to see if everything goes well. You want to make sure that they're not going to have any type of adverse effect. And then, of course, please make sure, please work with your veterinarian to make sure that everybody is safe. Your dog, cat, horse, you, and you have that open teamwork relationship with your veterinarian. So some sources that I like to use. Thankfully, I have been able to keep in touch with some of my veterinary friends, and one of my friends, her dad is actually a veterinarian on doTERRA's veterinary panel. So I'm very excited to have that resource as well. And this book right here, the Spoil Your Pet book, I love this book because it is a great reference tool. This is written by Dr. Mia Frieso and Jan Jeremias. And I love this because, you have an ailment, and then you can just look up the ailment and it tells you how to use it. So for instance, I just turned the page to diarrhea and vomiting, and you turn the page again and it'll give you some recipes to use for your dogs and for your cats. This is a great reference to use that as well. For dogs, it says digestive blend, which is Digest Zen, and Myrrh and Myrrh. And of course, diffuse On Guard in the room. So, which is great. Support that immune system, right? And then the other resource that I really enjoy is the Essential Oil Vet, Dr. Janet O'Rourke. She's on Facebook. She has a Facebook community that has been really, really great to pick her brain, or pick the community's brain, because, we do all learn better in a community. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming today to today's webinar. I would love to talk with you guys individually and chat about your pets, and just, everybody needs oils. Everybody needs oils. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much. I'm going to pause the video now because I'm recording this, and then I'm going to do our live Q&A on the back side. So look for your email so that way we can, so you get the replay. It'll be on YouTube, so you can just click on that. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And by the way, the next event that we have is next Tuesday. The 18th is Men's Health, and then the following Tuesday after that is Protecting the Summer Skin, because it's June. It's June. So have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here. And if there's anything else I can do for you guys, please do not hesitate to email me, Facebook message me. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with whenever you need. Have a great day. Bye-bye.